Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Cabinet Vision Guy. In today's episode we're going to continue our series on JavaScript and add a little bit more functionality to our side for the UCS. What we're going to do in this episode is we're going to add some functions into our UCS just to help us manage code going forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm firstly going to go over to my browser and look at what is a function. So a function is a block of code that's designed to perform a certain task. In the example that we've got here, you'll see that we've got a function which has a function name. I can then pass different parameters to my function. So in this particular one, we're going to pass two numbers to it, and that is P1 and P2. These are separated with a comma, and what would happen is if we return the value for that, it's just P1 times P2. So when we call this function, what we're going to get back is a number that is a multiplication of the two parameters that we pass to it. If we have a look down here, we've also got some more examples. As you can see here, we've got x equals my function, 4 and 3, and the values that are going to be returned is a times b. So how does this help us with our JavaScript UCS? So if I minimize this down and just come back up and look at my code, and I've got my add side fillers episode 4. Well, in the last episode what we did is we added a couple more controls to be able to decide the left filler width and the right filler width. And this is done with this block of code here and this block of code here as well. And this is creating my cabinet level attributes for my left filler and right filler width. What these two blocks of code are doing is essentially exactly the same thing. The only difference is we've got a different parameter name. We've got a different value for the parameter, so we've also got right filler width and left filler width, and we've also got a different description. But apart from that, it is the same block of code. So what I can do with this is, if I know I'm going to be essentially repeating the same block of code over and over again with my UCS, I can choose to put that into a function. So right up at the top of my UCS, I'm going to create myself a little bit more space, and I'm going to copy this section here, and I'm going to paste it in here and just move it over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by creating a function, and I'm going to call this one I think set parameter. I think I'll call it get set parameter actually. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to be able to pass some different values to this. And the only values I need to pass are the ones that I'm going to need to change. So this is, I need a string that represents the parameter name. And then I also need a value or number for the filler width. So if I put comma, and then I'm going to put filler width. Well, I'll actually put parameter value. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Rather than filler width. And then what I'll do is, and I'll give it another comma, and then I need to put my description in there. So I'm just going to put description. I'll just put my. There we go. So if I close that off and then just open and close my brackets there, what I need to do is I need to put a return value in. And what I want to do is I want to return the parameter after I've set it here. So instead of setting my left filler width to equal this dot get parameter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write return in there. And then when I call this function, what it's going to do is it's going to return the parameter here. So what I need to do is I need to come up to the top, and I just need to make sure that instead of it using my CV left param, that's actually the value that I want to pass to it. So I need to make sure that I've got my parameter name set, and this one as well, and then I need my parameter value, and instead of left filler width, obviously that's parameter value, and then my description, I can copy this string from here and just put that in there. So to use this, instead of having this block of code here again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just comment that out for a second. And I'm going to comment this as well. And I'm just going to grab get set parameter, and I'm going to use open brackets and close brackets, and then I'm going to pass all my different values to it. So the first thing I need to do is pass my parameter name. Then I need to use my value, I think, up here. Yep, my value, which is left filler width. And then I need my description. And then once I've done that, what I can do is, if I want to, I can get rid of my comments. I'm going to leave it in there just in case I've made a mistake. But I'm going to come down here and I'm going to copy this section where I'm calling my function. And I'm going to put it in here as well. So again, I'm going to comment this out just for now. And I'm going to comment that section as well. And obviously for this one, instead of the left parameter, it wants to be the right one. And then I'm going to put right filler width, and I'll just copy there. So now, rather than calling the same block of code multiple times, what I'm doing is I'm calling my function, and I'm returning, my function up here, and I'm returning the value of the parameter that I'm passing. So what I can now do is I can close this down, and this should just work as it did before. So if I set this to left, it should appear on the left, which is great, and on the right hand side, it appears on the right. And now if I want to start to build more complexity into my UCS, which obviously I'm going to do, instead of repeating the same block of code over and over, and I'm going to get rid of this one now, and get rid of this one as well. All I need to do next time I want to set a parameter is call my function name and then pass the different values to it. This helps us maintain code over time. Obviously, if we're performing something only once, we probably wouldn't put it into a function. But if we're going to be performing the same block of code over and over again, it's worth just making a function out of it up at the top of our UCS here. And it does help us when we come back to our UCS in time. Obviously, if we came back to this a year later, it's better to see a function up at the top rather than see the same block of code repeated multiple times over. Hopefully you found this episode useful. Feel free to give us a like, share and subscribe. We're on Facebook, that's facebook.com/thecabinetvisionguy, and we're also on Instagram, that's instagram.com/thecabinetvisionguy as well. Cheers!